everybody, welcome back to another edition of Diamond's Corner. Special guest today, UFC vet Charles Rosa is joining us. What's up, Charles? How you doing?
Man, I'm good. Just got back from the gym a little while ago. Just really relaxing now until my next session later tonight. So, steady grinding.
So you have a fight coming up. It's May 9th. Is it Bryce Mitchell you got coming up?
Yeah, May 9th, fighting Bryce Mitchell. Still waiting on location exactly of the fight. But, yeah, man, I mean, it's a fight I've been in training camp for a while now. So, man, I'm ready to go. So hopefully this thing goes down. I mean, they already called me once. I was supposed to fight Bryce Mitchell May 2nd, but they called and canceled it about a week ago. They postponed it, they said, but then they just postponed it a week. So there's only like 1 or 2 days where I thought I wasn't fighting.
So for anybody watching, I mean, we're still kind of in the lockdown phase with Corona, so that's why it's been really crazy right now. What's it like training and trying to be mentally ready and doing what you got to do, and then it gets postponed and kind of having the uncertainty?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, that's part of it, but it's my job as a fighter to be ready for the fight. I mean, when the fight goes down, I can't be like, oh, well, I thought it might not happen or have any excuse. When I get in there, it's just me and Bryce are gonna be locked in the cage. I gotta be ready, and I gotta make sure that I'm prepared. So that's what I'm doing now. There was like that 2-day period. I think it was about a week or 10 days ago where they told me the fight was postponed, and my manager, and from my understanding, it was going to be postponed like more than a week. So I went and I ate like a bunch of food for like a day and a half. So it was a good little break for 2 days, but my body probably needed the rest and needed the calories anyways. So I'm right back on weight now, so it won't be an issue.
So you said you just got back from training. What'd you just do?
Yeah, I did kickboxing. So just, a lot of kickboxing drills and stuff like that. I switch it up every day, obviously. I got to train everything. The fight starts in the feet. But, they're saying this guy's a jiu-jitsu guy or whatever. So we'll see what he brings to the table.
And then you got another session, what, tonight you said, or this afternoon?
Yeah, I got another session tonight. So I'll probably do some wrestling drills with my head coach, Mike Brown, stuff like that. So just, training hard, getting ready for this thing.
Okay, so are you in Florida right now, living and training?
I'm in South Florida, training an American Top Team. So, the governor in Florida passed out.
Awesome. So, I know the fighter side of you, who I'm a big fan of. I think we met at ATT years ago. Where I first, you got to try in the Diamond Cup, and I know you've been protecting your nuts ever since. So we're happy and proud about that.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. It definitely has saved me some blows.
The other side of you that's really fascinating to me is you're a cook or chef, I guess you'd call it. You're not maybe. Tell me about that, and tell me how that started, and when did you start learning to cook?
I started cooking before I was ever, before I was really, fighting or even training to fight. I mean, I've been a fighter my whole life, but ever since I was little, since I was probably 3-4 years old, I was rolling meatballs, in the kitchen. I come from a large Italian family. So, my mom and dad both come from big families. So there was always like food on the table and we're always cooking and stuff. But then once I graduated high school, the guidance council people said, well, what do you want to go to school for? And, I said, I don't really know, so they said, what do you want to do? And I kind of gave them a sarcastic answer, like, well, what do you like to do? And I'm like, well, I like to eat and I like to play hockey. And they're like, well, and I kind of said it sarcastically, but they said they gave me an option, Johnson & Wales University, which is the best culinary school in the country. So, I've always loved food. I wanted to play hockey in college. So I was able to go to one of the best culinary schools in the country and graduate with a degree in culinary arts. So that's what kind of moved me to Florida. I got a good opportunity to work at a good restaurant in South Florida, Cut 432. It's like a 5-star steakhouse. So, man, I've been working as a chef ever since. And then, now that I'm in the UFC, I kind of just keep it on the back burner, and obviously I have to take my fight camps and things like that as my full priority at this point.
So are you still working at the restaurant, or?
Not right now. No, since I got this fight and since my last fight, I haven't, because I'm trying to really focus, on becoming a champion. So I gotta commit 100% to it. But I still go in there sometimes, talk to the guys, and the door is still open. I try to keep my knife skills and everything sharp at the house for now. And with the pandemic, the restaurant's actually closed right now. So
right, yeah.
what it is, what it is, but it sucks. But you know, I'm sure once they open back up, if I ever want to hop in, they would love to have me.
So I was a hockey player myself, athlete. So did you play in college, you said?
Yeah, I played Johnson and Wales like 1 year, 2 years, but they it's, you know, stuff's political, man. So, you know, I mean, I was one of the best players, but like they don't put you on the ice, what can you do? And that's kind of how high school was too for me. And I don't like make excuses or nothing, but you know, it's you know, I got in a lot of fights and stuff, so the coaches didn't really like me too much because, you know, they're trying to run a team and stuff like that. So my style of hockey didn't really play into their format, so it didn't always, you know, I'm a very coachable guy. I'm like humble and stuff, but you know, they don't, you know, when you're taking penalties or getting fights during the ice, you know, you don't really get the time you need, you know, on the ice. So I didn't really
Right.
get a chance to, you know, get a shot at the NHL, the big fights. You know, I probably should have held the role as like maybe played in like some other type of league where you could fight more and actually get, you know, get love
Yeah,
for
if
it.
you're going to juniors or if you're going
Yeah,
somewhere
something
where
like
that's
that.
what it is.
Yeah, but not in college and not in high school. So you know, it is what it is. Maybe
You got
things
enough
could have been
fighting now
different.
to do, so that's
Exactly,
okay.
exactly. So, you know, I found out, you know, I found what I really love, and that was it's fighting. You know, I was a better fighter than I was a hockey player, so it worked out better.
What skills do you think translate from hockey to fighting? I mean, is there anything you think you can bring from years of playing hockey that
Yeah,
maybe
no
some
doubt,
guys
man.
don't?
I think, you know, the first thing is the attitude, the hard work, and the discipline of being an athlete, you know, and then, you know, going out under those bright lights and performing. Like I've been under, you know, arenas and places and, you know, played in some pretty cool venues, like, or you go to Lake Placid, New
Mm-hmm.
York, and you play a big tournament against other countries and stuff like that. It's nerve-wracking when you step on the ice and there's all the fans and people watching you. So I think that definitely helps with it, you know, where some people don't have that experience at all. There's the pressure, you know, and I always did better under pressure, you know, like I didn't practice as good as I played. So, you know, I think, you know, it's what it is. I think just the pressure actually makes me better. So I've used that to my advantage and, yeah, that's what it is.
Cool. So back to cooking. I was on your Instagram and you were
Yeah.
cooking up some fish or scallops and
Yeah.
broccolini and
Yeah.
it looked incredible, man. I
Yeah.
love to cook too. My mom's a big cook.
Yeah.
Are you doing all the cooking for yourself throughout camp? How do you do it?
Yeah.
Having that talent.
Yeah, I do, man. I mean, that's one of the advantages I have in doing what I do. I mean, part of this is having a weight cut, you know, so I can fight at a weight class that, you know, I'm fighting, you know, maybe having an advantage being a little bigger and stronger than the guys where, you know, some people might not have the, you know, might not be able to know how to do weight cuts or properly, you know, give themselves nutrition, and they're cutting too much weight or too much water, and it can affect you in the fight. So this is a huge part of fighting is nutrition and diet and weight cutting that some people don't see. They just see two people get in a cage, but they don't realize like what the person had to go through, you know, with their diet and their nutrition to get to that point. So that's something I have a huge advantage of. You know, I eat really well up until the day of my fight. There's not a day that I don't eat, where some fighters are cutting food out for 2 or 3 days. So if you eat the right foods and, you know, you can, you know, if you eat the right foods and you can do it the right way, that your body doesn't take a hit for it, like nutritional.
What about other guys? What about other fighters that come over that you've ever cooked for? Do guys want you to cook
Oh,
for them? I mean, do they want?
yeah. Oh, dude, they love it. One of my best friends, Walt the Big Ticket Harris. Like he
Sure,
lived
we know Walt.
for 2 years, man. He lived with me, and we cook like every meal together. I would just, you know, I pretty much taught him how to cook, and he would love it, man. We just, you know, get food all day and just eat. And he's a heavyweight, so as long as you know, he can eat even when he's in camp. So he ate a lot of food, but you know, whenever I wasn't in camp, we could pretty much eat whatever we wanted. But yeah, we had good times cooking in the house, and he'd always, you know, be like, "Hey, let's make this again. Let's make this again." And then you know, because when I first met him, he would just put salt and pepper on everything, like just drench it. And I'm like, man, what are you doing? Well, like, I gotta get so you know, I started cook. I watched him cook, and it would bother me. Like the first way it started is like I would watch him cook, and it would bother me so bad. I'm like, yo, I can't. I gotta help you. Like, so he'd be like, you know, burning shit, whatever. But now, man, I think he's a pro. I was watching him cook the other night. He was grilling us some steaks. He looked like he knew what he was doing now. So
Wow.
I'm happy. I'd say he's like a purple belt, a brown belt now in cooking. So
Ooh, that's pretty good.
under Chef Charles Rosa. So he's getting his game up.
What if you got to cook Walt that birthday meal? What are you going to cook him? What's his go-to?
Oh man, he loves shrimp. So I don't know. I'd cook him some type of shrimp, whatever he wants, whether shrimp and pasta or something like that. But yeah, something like that. But it depends what he's in the mood for. But he eats everything. He loves all types of food. So it depends what he's in the mood for.
let me ask you a question. So in camp, when you're, I mean, what's like the most you can eat as far as, give me an example of what you'd eat
All
when you're
right.
kind of in
So,
camp and.
yeah. So, for example, this morning, I wake up, I ate 2 eggs, half a grapefruit, a banana, tablespoon of almond butter. Boom, that's it, and then I'm still starving after that. But, like, drink some water. It curbs my appetite where I'm not like so hungry that and then probably 2 hours later, after I train or whatever, go to training, I come back, and I'll usually have just say like, 2 chicken breasts and some vegetables or something, or a piece of fish or a piece of steak and some vegetables. And then maybe like a half a potato or half a sweet potato. So, and then I'll go train again. Then at dinner, usually I like to eat fish and vegetables. So I cut out the carbs at night. So it's pretty, and in between I have an apple or a banana here and there when I'm starving, or some nuts or whatever, or something like that. But pretty much, man, it's pretty strict. And then, really late at night, if I can't sleep, like I just have some Greek yogurt, like unsugared, non-fat, like, but pretty strict, man. Like that's pretty much what I ate yesterday, exactly, and that's pretty on point. I'll substitute proteins and vegetables and different things. Like one day I'll have steak, chicken. The other day I'll get some nice fish from the fish market, whatever. But yeah, I try to switch it up. But one of the keys is I just try to make it taste good, because usually eating that shit sucks. Like when you start eating, like, some people, I watch some of the fighters like they just eat like every day. They eat like the chicken. They just like cook it in the pan with some butter or something, and they don't realize like cooking it in a pan with butter like isn't that good. Like for you got to put like, you can use a little bit of olive oil or something like that instead, is a little better than butter. So they think they're eating healthy, and sometimes they're not, because they're just putting like butter in the pan, and they're putting salt. They don't realize what they're doing. So I'm pretty good now at cooking it where it's perfect.
Do any of the guys ever reach out to you for questions or tips when they're
Oh
trying to
yeah,
cut?
yeah. Pretty much every day, someone reaches out to me from my gym, or one of my coaches, or someone's like, "Hey, can I FaceTime you and you cook this?" I'm like, "Dude, like, I'll do it sometimes if I'm in the right time." But I'm like, "Just come over, I'll teach you how to do it." So sometimes when I have my friends come over, I'll just teach them how to do it and cook for them. But sometimes if
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
the right time, then I can help them.
a lot of dudes don't know how to cook, and especially
Yeah.
being a professional athlete and a fighter, and cutting weight. I mean, it's got to be such a huge part of the game, because I mean everybody's training hard and everybody's doing what they should be doing, but the difference maybe between butter or olive oil could be a difference, or could be
Oh,
so.
yeah, for sure,
Um,
man, for sure.
so what do you do after you make weight? Tell me about that meal. I mean, do you have a usual that you go to, or?
Yeah, I love eating, chicken parmesan. So
Oh,
after
that's my favorite.
my dad is Italian, he's a cook, he's a man. My dad Chucky, and he cooks the food for me, and like I usually always have him cook for me, and it comes out fire. And if we're away or somewhere else, like we usually find somewhere that he can make it for me or something like that. But if
Is he
he's
going to
not
be
there,
there
then
with you? Is he there with you usually for
yeah,
camps?
usually he is. I mean, there's been fights like in Japan we weren't able to pull it off because, or something like that, like when I went crazy places. But, I just substitute. I'll just find a restaurant that has like the best chicken parm in the city, and like we just usually get it. But, usually right away, that's not like what I eat. That's like my dessert pretty much. You know what I mean? Like after it's the end of the night, everything's, I've already rehydrated. I'm good. Like I just want like with that one meal before you go to sleep the night before the fight, I'll just eat that. And then, it's a little bit of pasta, a little bit of chicken. I usually don't put the cheese on it, even though I say chicken parmesan. It's usually just chicken with
Yeah.
sauce and pasta, because like you don't want to have too much of that stuff. But I just but it is what it is. I mean, I've never had a fight in my entire life I haven't performed. In my first like 15, 20 amateur fights, I literally would eat like ice cream and cookies like after I waiting, because I didn't know better. You know what I'm saying? I just like, oh, I'm starving, like eat some
Right.
chips and whatever, and just some cookies and just eat ice cream, and I still perform those fights. So I think it's mostly mental. It's just like, but you obviously don't want to be putting any food in you that's going to slow you down, because this is like the highest level. It's professional. It's not like, it's for money. So
Every inch counts, and everything you do counts up into the night of the fight. I mean,
yeah.
obviously you're focusing on, getting that strap and being a champion and performing well. You ever think about after fighting? I mean, is this something that you want to do? I mean, there are a lot of those meal companies that will send food to fighters and people. I mean,
Yeah.
what are you thinking, in the future someday?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, man. I've just been watching I'm like a huge fan of watching different types of chefs and stuff. I've been watching like Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen the last couple of weeks. And, the more I watch stuff like that, the more I realize like, cooking is one of my other passions. I mean, fighting for sure is what I love and what I've committed my entire life to. And it's my number one love, but you can't fight forever. You can cook forever though, however. So that's going to be something that I definitely, I'm going to use. And while I'm in the UFC, I think, over these next couple fights, I haven't been doing it much in the past because, my name wasn't out there as much, but now that my name's getting bigger, I want to start using that as a platform. The UFC is a platform to be able to get, to these big chefs, to these big restaurants. And maybe when I'm traveling and doing different media stuff for the UFC, that I can maybe be like one of their chefs to come hop on or go to different restaurants and sightsee and tour and, taste different foods and, maybe be like some type of fighter and the chef type thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's just something for the future, but I got to start building it now. Cause like I said, I know I can't fight forever. I still got at least another solid 5 years of good fights in me, but, after that it's going to come quick. So I've already been in the UFC for 5 years. So 5 more years, I just want to have something, after that.
Nice. Tell everybody where we can find you, where we can follow you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. You guys can see I'm usually always have some type of food thing in my story or update on my fight on Instagram or Twitter. So you guys can find me at Charles Rosa MMA on Instagram and Twitter. Or you guys can check out also my family charity is chuckysfight.com. It's a charity that my mom and dad started. My mom, Mary, my dad, Chucky, started to help educate teens on substance abuse. So it's chuckysfight.com. You guys can go on there and, check it out. My dad jumps in the freezing cold ocean every single day.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. Your dad's the big guy with the mustache, right? That's
Nah, he doesn't have I don't know if he has a mustache.
I thought he did it. Okay, maybe not.
He might look like it some days, but nah, he doesn't shave. But yeah, he's a beast. He jumps in the freezing cold ocean and he does it daily. And he's up in Boston, New Hampshire area, and he goes when it's snowing. It's like right there. I think it's snowing right now, and he jumps in every morning and he does it. Pretty much every single morning. So he's
some Wim Hof stuff there.
I think my dad is the new Wim Hof or the original one. I don't know. He's been doing it for a while now, but he's a G man. It doesn't really affect him much, and he does it for a good cause most of all. So it's not just it's for a good cause to help them. The money that he's raised, hundreds of thousands of dollars to help kids get in the treatment centers, is pretty amazing. So
Cool. That's awesome. So let me ask you, we're going to make a donation today to that also. And we're going to put up on this episode, a link where other people could donate. So definitely go, donate to that cause. He goes every day. He goes in. Where does he live? Does he live off the water or what? Tell me about his routine.
On New Hampshire on the beach. So yeah, he wakes up probably like 5 a.m. every morning, drives his truck down there. He goes in barefoot. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't even wear shoes ever. He might have, so he's walking around, and it's just that's how he does it. And everybody knows who he is. No one really bothers him, and he does his thing. And I think for him though, it's mostly because like my backstory and I lost my 2 older brothers, Dominic and Vincent, to accidental drug overdoses about 10 years ago. They were a year apart, but my dad's way in the beginning before the charity ever started to cope with it is we put their ashes in the ocean. So he would just go jump in every morning, just every day, just because that was his way of meditating or coping and dealing with it. But then once he started doing it so much, my mom was able to come up with the idea to start a charity to help, kids that can't get in the treatment centers or educate teens on substance abuse. And like I said, the goal of Chucky's Fight is to help knock out substance abuse. So my dad is pretty much is the guy in charge, and he's been running the show, and he's been helping thousands of people. So
amazing. And it's amazing. He goes in every day, and that's his routine, and it's probably really good for him. I mean, that's cool. Does he bring a towel and then towel off or get in the truck? Like, what's his?
Nah, he don't even bring a towel. The water freezes. It's so cold some days. The water will freeze to the hair on the skin. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, you can see frozen water on the skin. And it's what it is. I have to do it with him. I probably do it 3 or 4
I've seen you do it with him. I've watched those videos.
It's absolute. It's cold. I've been doing it for 10 years, 15 years now since I was a little kid. So yeah,
do you get used to it, or is it still freeze your ass off every time?
Nah, I never get used to it. I know how to put a poker face on now at this point, but it still sucks every time it's freezing.
So does he go in, dips, and leaves, or does he have? What's his routine? Just a dip and a swim, or
it depends. I think like if it's just say it's 30 degrees out and the water's calm and it's not like windy, he'll stay in the water for a while. Like, and that's freezing. 30 degrees, like technically it's freezing, but the water doesn't freeze obviously because of salt. But if it's like, you know, -2 degrees out and it's friggin' snowstorm, he just jumps in and out, you know. So it depends on it. But I've seen him sit in that cold water that I can't even put my toe in. He'll sit in it for like, you know, 20, 30 minutes and swim around.
wow, amazing. Yeah. Well, it's a great cause. We're going to donate to that. I went to prep school one year in New Hampshire and played hockey, and we had an outdoor rink. So if anybody knows how cold it gets out east out there, I mean, it's cold. So to jump in, that's amazing, but that's inspiring. And
where'd you go to Exeter?
New Hampton.
Okay,
you ever heard New Hampton school?
No, I didn't know. It was a little further north up in New Hampshire, but yeah, I know Phillips Exeter Academy, but that's close to my house. But
yeah, Exeter. I think there was Brewster Academy. It was another one up there, and there's a few different ones, but it was a good experience out east.
Fights with those kids in lacrosse and hockey, so we play the Exeter kids.
I got in a fight my sophomore year in high school too. It was tough kids, so it was a good experience, and it was great talking to you, man. Thanks for coming on. I'm going to cut out just because we only have a certain amount of time. And the next show I want to do with you, we'll do it after your fight. I'd love to do a cooking show. So maybe figure out a way someone could record you, and you can walk us through on how to prepare a meal. A lot of people at home, especially now that don't know shit about cooking, would love to learn how to make something simple but great, you know. So we should do that.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm actually I started a thing with the UFC. We're gonna start doing that too. So I'll be, I'll have the setup good by then. So
awesome, love it, man. Thanks for coming on. Good luck in your fight. We'll talk to you soon.
No problem, man. Later.
All right, thanks. See ya.